CI Live here with SAT 5. And today we're actually going to I don't know that we've done this before. We've got an alumni and also a in training level graduate who is joining us today, Julie Allison. And we will have her introduce herself. And then also, Julie, if you wouldn't mind following that up by just giving us a little bit of your perspective on level 2. How are you feeling in that class? What do you think about it so far?
Okay, I'd be more than happy to do that. Thanks. So yes, as Jerome said, I'm Julie Allison, and I am like you said, level 1 certified life coach. And my business, as you can see up there, is Catalyst Life Coaching. So I have always wanted to do this. It's been a passion of mine forever. I currently work as a nurse executive in kind of corporate healthcare full-time. And so decided that this is definitely something I wanted to do. I think coming out of the pandemic had a lot to do with it, because you realize like life is too short. You never know what's going to happen tomorrow. So go do the things you want to do. So I'm in the middle of finished my second day of level 2. And I absolutely loved level 1. Didn't think that another like level 2 could surpass it. And it has. Like, it's just incredible. The amount of information, and you really realize how much you've learned, which is awesome too. And so, yeah, it's been a great experience so far.
In what ways do you think level 2 has surpassed level 1?
I think it might be like, I think they're equal in talent and information. I think it's more personally, maybe I'm getting more out of it because I'm more comfortable. I am more open. I'm not as nervous about like, oh my God, can I do this? Now I'm like, oh, not only can I do it, I am doing it. So now I'm ready to learn more.
And that's really the benefit of allowing some time between the level 1 and the level 2, is so that you can get more comfortable using the tools that you learn in level 1 and then applying them again in with level 2. And that's awesome to hear that you have that confidence and that, excitement. So who are you coaching? We were talking about this a little bit. Who is your target audience?
So originally my niche was busy professionals that wanted to level up. That was kind of, and of course I'm a busy professional who has leveled up. So it makes sense, right? Because you kind of know, you go for what you know. But interestingly enough, I am coaching so I figured, middle-aged woman. I'm coaching someone who's a, late 20s man. And, we met, he said, I want to work with you. So it's really taught me to expand my, my thought process on who I might work with. So then I can re-narrow it, because I kind of just assumed this is where I'd go.
And so is he your only client at the moment, or do you have others as well?
No, I have another client who fits the avatar that I kind of put out there, who's a busy, professional executive who is, going through some transitions and wants to get to that next level.
Is there anything that the two have in common? Have you noticed anything that sort of overlap with the two?
Not really. It's two very different experiences.
So how did they find you, out of curiosity?
I used to I still do work in the same company as one of them. And another one, we met him and his wife on vacation.
Oh, amazing. And so, well, that's awesome.
We live in completely different states, like the whole bit, but there was a connection about, the life coaching piece and my personality and how we clicked. And he's like, I really want to work with you. So
that's awesome. Like it's one of those moments where you can find a client anywhere, and you can sell yourself anywhere. Honestly. And that's good on you for having the confidence to do that too.
And it was in Aruba, which was also awesome.
Very nice.
Always a plus.
So we were talking a little bit about your niche and who you're coaching and what your next steps are, and you have the opportunity to build out a program too.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us more about that.
Sure. So when I decided to finally put it out there, social media, et cetera, that this is what I was doing, I had, and it wasn't like a shock, I don't think, to anybody, because I'm always like motivational and, all of that kind of content was always part of my social media persona, so to speak. But someone that I used to work with, she is now a CEO of a community health and wellness organization. And she reached out to me and said, hey, I saw that you're, sort of got your certification for life coaching. And I want to offer, this year we're working on like wellness and growth for my staff. And so I really would love for you to do group coaching. And so I was like, group coaching. I didn't know how large this was or anything. So I met her for lunch and she's like, yeah, I have 80 employees. And I was like, okay, this is not group coaching. This is not, but let's get creative. So we talked through it. She gave me her vision and I put together a proposal, met with her a couple weeks later and she loved it. And so now, this was such a phenomenal opportunity. It's always something I've wanted to do, but it probably would have taken me a year to get there because I would be, but now it's like, I have to have this first session in July. So right. So it's awesome because I thrive on deadlines. So it's perfect.
Yeah, I heard you say something. You said this is not group coaching. Can you tell me more about how it's not group coaching?
Well, okay. So in my mind, and you can please correct me if I'm wrong, but you can't coach 80 people at a time.
Well, no, you can't. But at the same time, group coaching can very much look like you doing a demo with one person and the group learning from it. Right. Much like in our class with level 1 and level 2, like with Dan, he does a lot of coaching demonstrations. And even though you're not the center of that demonstration, you're learning valuable tools. Am I correct? Yes, no?
Absolutely. No, that's excellent perspective. I didn't even think of that. I like that a lot.
So there is, it is, and could be if you opened yourself up to that, an opportunity to do group coaching and call it group coaching. I mean, there are, if you look at, I know that Lisa and Dan just took a course with Rich Litvin that had 300 people in it, and they were coaching. One of the things they did is use breakout rooms as well, so they broke off that larger group into smaller groups. Are you going to do anything like that in your program, or?
Well, for this particular one, probably not because of the time. It's only an hour.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's an hour once a month for 6 months. So we're backing into that, but I do like the idea of doing the, coaching in with one person in the larger group. So
I'm going to ask you this. So it's an awesome opportunity. How can you use that opportunity to help fuel your business? Basically, because you can just do it, or you can do it with an intention of growing your coaching business as well. And that is 100% it's such a blessing, right? And I said to my friend Joanne that I used to work with, she said, I'm so excited that you're able to do this for us, but I'm so excited to hopefully help you launch. I mean, it's 80 people that know X amount of people, so yeah. I would love to hear your thoughts on how I leverage that.
That is the crazy thing, because a lot of new coaches that, at least in my experience, I've seen, they'll start with maybe 1 or 2 clients, and they'll start to slowly ramp up from there. But you're bam, right, 80 clients. Well, 80 word of mouths, right? Spread the good news. Not only, but one of the things though that you want to do, and that's one of the reasons I'm bringing this up, is really leverage this to your advantage, because it's just like, it's the same with podcasts. It's the same when a lot of coaches, businesses, people, when you're doing those kind of interviews, you begin with sort of doing it and not thinking about where you're guiding people and what the next steps are going to be. So I would make sure that with each class you are setting an intention, and that intention it's sort of like a call to action, where you can go, okay, at the end of this class, if you want to get in touch with me, or if you want to, don't be afraid to put that out there. In fact, I would say don't do it if you're not putting yourself out there in that. 100%. So yes, to your point on there, I will have zero problem with a call to action, because I don't know if you can tell how passionate I am about doing this. So yes, there will definitely be that. Well, and you don't strike me as somebody who is shy about sharing what you do. And I think also, as you said, you're an executive, you have to put yourself out there to get to that sort of position. So I have no fear there whatsoever.
But the good thing, one thing you want to do in that too, though, is make sure that you are whatever path you're sending them down is as direct as possible to you. Do you have any thoughts, like any ideas of how you might do that? I might have one or two.
I mean,
Yeah, well, I would love for you to share, because I will say that my challenge and my biggest opportunity to learn is in the marketing and the actual business end. And like, I've got the passion, I've got the ideas, I've got the vision. It's that execution in those areas that are where I have the most growth. I need to make.
So right off the bat, I know you had mentioned using the life wheel, like in your first.
Yes. Mhm.
I think that honestly is one way to sort of open the door too. Are you going to be giving it to them in the class, or is it just going to be something you're going to show them how to do?
Well, both. So
Okay.
yeah, I was going to kind of talk about the whole philosophy of it, how to utilize it. And then if there's time, they can start to do it there. But I'm going to have I'm going to put together a packet of takeaways is my thought.
Which, yes, brand your takeaways, but also if there is a way you can do this, do you have a website?
I do. It's almost done.
I understand that. But if you could have them access the life wheel from your site, and you could go as far as collecting their email address.
Yeah.
When they download it, then every person in that class has given you you now have their contact information. You have captured that, and now also they're driving traffic to your site as well.
Right.
well, I was going to suggest as well, maybe have collecting their names and email addresses as part of the program.
Oh, yeah.
At first, so that way you can give them the materials they need for classes really effectively, easily, homework packets or things like that, tools, and you already have their information as well for in the future.
I think though, even a step further is to host it from your site if possible, if you can. Like if it's just a landing page for this class where that's where they download their materials from, where that's why, simply because what that does is it's going to drive 80 people to her site.
Well, I was also going to ask,
SEO.
is this in person or is this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure.
So it's in person. They'll all be watching. I wonder what kind of, what format, like forum is it in? Is it
It's like a conference
room?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So in theory, they'll all be sort of audience seating, probably not sitting in front of computers or anything like that, I would assume.
No computers, no.
Okay, perfect. That's actually better. Because what I would then for sure do is either have something with a QR code, which is very easily scanned, that can then give them all your information, just like a boom clip. Again, always the quickest way to you, the simplest way to you, the most direct.
I have that actually. My daughter gave it to me for Mother's Day. The electronic business card thing.
And so, but anything you can do that makes it that simple. And even you could even print that. It's funny because I've been made fun of because I'm a big fan for anything that's public, like always have a big sign. Like everybody needs big blinking signs. Like which is what you get with your deck, with your everything. But the no matter what, I would make sure that they are walking away with your information. And that's how. And that's really, that says more that you should be hosting the life wheel from your site, because they're not going to be in front of computers and it's not a digital setting, giving them that, if it's a QR code or if it's what have you, where they can go afterwards and download the life wheel from your site. And then that way you can capture their information and it's there. And is it the same 80 each month?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is wonderful because that gives you 6 months of generating trust with them.
Right. I know it's such a blessing, but I'm like huge manifester of everything. And I've been thinking about this for so long that, and my family, they say, I'm a good witch, but like I literally make it happen. And when this occurred, it was like, oh my gosh. And my family's like, of course it did. Because
you put it out there, you're going to get it back. Absolutely. I'm with you there 100%. So a fellow good witch.
Cheers.
So, but so that's 6. So tell me, so the first you were talking about the life wheel, what I'm just curious, what is the plan for each month? Like what is the process you're taking them through?
Yep. So it's, I'm just going to, on my other screen here, just pull up so it starts with the wheel of life. Then it's core values. Because how do you organize around, you look and see, okay, what exactly where am I in my satisfaction, all these areas of my life. And then we'll do an exercise the next month of what are my core values? And even if you've thought about that 3 years ago, you need to reevaluate, right?
We did a live not too long ago. It's again, we did a free like giveaway thing on core values. So if you, we will get you that link.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
It's a really cool process. The one we use, it's the way you narrow it down and then order them, and it basically takes you down and you can narrow down your core
yes, I love it. Because
no, it's a different one. It's from like a year and a half ago, but
before my time.
Yeah, before you. So you go from core values.
Yep.
To what's next?
I'm pulling it up. So then the next, I believe, is where is it? Here it is. And I titled it. My package is called the Catalyst Concept, because I'm Catalyst Life Coaching, so it's the Catalyst Concept.
I love Catalyst, by the way. I absolutely. My other company is called Outlier, but I had considered Catalyst as well, because it's a good name.
Just so you know, it was solely born from the materials for prep for level 1. You know how, like I did all the exercises, like go to this site, go to that site, what's this, what's that, get the words, all this. And that's how I landed on it.
Package is working.
That's how I landed on it, because I had a bunch of different ideas, but none of them were doing it. And then when I ever like swung around to Catalyst, I was like, oh yes,
this is the one. And in that moment, that's such a good moment, that like aha, like this is it. I love that moment. Yeah. And then so that I love that, the two, all of those materials. I feel like I'm just selling CLCI right now, but all of those materials, you can rebrand them and use them as you wish.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, making sure.
Which I love, which is great. So you don't have to start from scratch. Okay. So it's understanding and identifying core values. And then I was going to do like a visualization exercise, just to talk about the importance of really being able to see, where you want to be. You're using your imagination, really feeling and hearing and seeing and all of that. Where do you want to be? And then establishing your vision and mission. So it's like, where am I in all the parts of my life? What's important to me? Where do I want to go? And then the next is based on that, then setting goals, action planning for those goals. And then in December, it was going to be identifying and establishing habits for success.
Okay. So we go through the values, and then we identify the goals, and then it's setting and proceeding with those goals. And then the last one was habits for success, which what I'm thinking here, and what I'm sort of workshopping in my head is,
I love it.
Is there a way to, because of course the natural thing would be to try to find an upsell here, but we don't want to do a direct upsell. So is there a way to sort of leave them hanging, or tease them with what could be in that 6 week that would make them, be more encouraged to work with you afterwards?
Yeah.
Just something to consider. Jerome, any thoughts?
I think that's a great idea to leave a cliffhanger, but right off the bat.
I know, put you on the spot, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm thinking keep it, I want to say kind of, straightforward, not kind of what you mentioned, just a direct upsell.
Well, I'm thinking if you go through goals, if you go from goals to habits for success, but goals take a long time to reach, right? Typically, it's not like it's a long-term process. So maybe you do a short-term goal setting, and then you do a longer-term goal setting kind of thing with them.
That's a good idea.
I was thinking as well, this might be riskier, but also the benefits that this could bring I think it could work and be tremendous, is that maybe you have, out of the 80 people, there should be at least be a handful or one person who is willing to do every single session with you, and you can illustrate with them, work through them. So like, let's say out of the 80 people,
I wouldn't do just one person though, because you want to spread it around. Like you want to make sure, but I do like the idea of coaching in front of
because I think
coaching.
Showing you coaching the people that you're working with and working with their goals is probably the best way to go about this instead of talking about sort of topics
Let's think of it this way. So
out in the ether.
what is your favorite part of level 1 and level 2? Like what for you is the most engaging?
Watching the coaching.
Watching but the actual demonstrations, right?
Yeah.
When it actually happens. So is there a way for you to integrate that into your program? Because what will that do? That's going to show people what you're capable of, right?
Right.
And then motivate them to want to then work with you, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I have,
Jerome.
yeah. Just throwing it out there. Potentially, so rather than doing it every time you go and you're presenting with the same person, maybe stagnate it so you've got one person that you've agreed with to do a coaching session at the beginning, maybe right in the middle of that 6-month period, and then right at the end of it.
Show a little progress.
Just, to kind of, display the type of progress that's being made through these coaching sessions. And I wouldn't even say that those all would be just 3 coaching sessions, maybe do some behind the scenes work. So it's a little bit of mystique behind it, and it gives people kind of that urge to want to see.
You're saying not in the sessions themselves. You're saying you're not in but do it outside of.
Not all of them, yeah, not all of them. I would
That's
say maybe put some behind the scene where there is that.
But give the option out there to somebody in the course, say, hey, if you want to do one-on-one coaching, and then basically we would cover it. They would give express permission essentially to have that be public, which is, it's interesting. And it definitely, I mean, it is ideal in many ways. And it's something that I have, it's the trouble with it is always finding that person and finding the willingness.
That's why I said it's risky.
Yeah, exactly.
But out of 80 people, I think you're going to find people who are willing to do that and jump on that opportunity.
But I think though, with this, the opportunity to just do those sort of impromptu, natural coaching sessions. So if you open it up for questions, like that is a great way to sort of, you teach a tool, you open it up for questions, and you can then start to work with people sort of organically and naturally. And you can do it with more than one person in one session, and then maybe doing a check-in, if they're through this 6 months with you, segmenting a portion of your program, maybe at the beginning or the end, to just do a check-in. Hey, where are you guys at with X, Y, and Z? Were you planning on doing that out of curiosity? Or, I mean, were you picturing it more as lecture, or were you picturing it as lecture and workshop, I guess is my...
I was thinking of it primarily workshop. I mean, of course we have to explain the information, because I can't expect that somebody's even heard of the Wheel of Life before, so there's that element, but I don't intend for it to be dry at all. It's like, it's like walking around the room, it's asking questions, it's, blah, blah, blah. It's not like PowerPoint. So this is the Wheel of Life, and this is why it's important. This is how you use it. I intend to flip it all around.
The amazing thing about the Wheel of Life is it is probably one of the most powerful tools that we give and that you can use, period. Because not only can it be used as in your practice, it's a tremendous marketing tool. Like, it is a amazing marketing tool, because by virtue of having everybody fill it out, and if you could get a copy of that in some way, they're giving you all of their pain points right there. Right? That's their whole life. And that is like, this is my pain point. This is my pain point. What does that do? That tells you how to market to them. That tells you what they need. That tells you what it gives you a wealth of information, and it can be adapted. It doesn't just have to be the Wheel of Life. Like, we do the self-care assessment, right? We do the Wheel of Life as well, but the self-care assessment is it's a jumping off point. What that does is similar to the Wheel of Life, is it makes you sit back and look and go, okay, this is where I need work. This is where I'm doing good. This is where I need to find balance. And that then sets everybody up to get coached in class. And that's why the class prep exists, is for that reason exactly. And so that's why using it again in this capacity is fantastic, but using it marketing is where I think a lot of coaches sort of lose that step, is they don't apply that you can use that in your marketing and use that as a tool to find out information about your clients and what they need.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I personally have used that several times in my life, and I've done this. This is not like, I'm a student of myself. Like, I've done all of this many times, like every couple of years, and a significant change occurs. You fuel it. It's the catalyst.
It's a level up. It's
That's right. Level up and catalyst are like my two things, you know?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Well, and the catalyst is, I mean, it's amazing because it's, literally, what's funny is I was literally like reading about the definition of catalyst and the reasoning and the science and because I was genuinely considering using it for this. So, how can you use that first week? If there was a way to get the information on the life wheel from them, how could you use that? Because I feel like I know you're workshopping, they can do it afterwards. Maybe they can submit it to you, or maybe it's something month 2, you go over with them, because then what that can do is you can then find out, I guess, sort of tailor your program to their needs a bit as well, which would, I think, do nothing but make your program stronger.
Right. Like if I look at it and like 80% of the people are really dissatisfied in certain areas, that would give me that insight. Yeah.
And I mean, it might be something then, okay, this is where they're falling. Then you can take the following month and sort of have that be your focus somehow, or helping that area in some capacity. And it's a little organic, but it also gives you an informed process.
And you have a month in between each of the sessions, nice. So it's like you can really sit down with the information and work with it, and maybe even turn it into content you put out there. Now, obviously, that involves maybe some working with what you can and can't disclose, but keep it general enough where it's like, I've learned through this that a lot of people, have these sort of issues. Here's where we're going to go with this. Here's this thing that I'm doing. Because it's good that it's just the 80 people that you're coaching. That's amazing. How else can we use that? What other things or channels can we put that in?
Not only that, but the 80 is a warm market, right? She's got 80 people captured that are she's already in a place of authority with them. She's already, which gives her trust, and that so using that to her advantage, and then being able to meet them at their level and their needs will do nothing but help her and through that process.
And I do feel too that, to that point, if I do have that information ahead of time and I'm able to speak to it in a general fashion, like, based on what I've learned. And so therefore I'm going to cater to or customize this. Originally I was thinking X, but now because I feel I know you all a little bit better, I think it's best to go this route.
And even putting it out there like that is fantastic, because now not only that, but now you're giving them a gift essentially, which will again generate more trust and make them feel like you're invested and you care about what it is they're going through. It also, like you had mentioned, to sort of bring it all together, that 80 people is a warm market, but that 80 people knows 80 people like them, right? So if you do well with that 80 people, that's 80 referrals potentially. And if chances are that what they struggle with, their friends are struggling with, the people they know are struggling with. So if you can show or demonstrate that you are capable of helping and helping in those situations in this format, it can just do nothing but wonderful things for you. The key being though is to make sure that the path to you is the shortest one possible. That it is so easy to get a hold of you, find you, book you, that it's ridiculous.
And not just individuals to book you, but other companies who might be interested in having you do events like these for them.
Right.
And to speak to that, is there now this is just sort of pie in the sky, throwing it out there. Would it be possible? So it was somebody you knew who's having you put this on. Does she know any like individuals or other like programs that could maybe visit one of the weeks or one of the weekends and see?
Oh, that's a great idea. Well, yeah, I mean, she's a CEO of a healthcare organization, so I'm sure she has got a phenomenal network.
Yeah. So, I mean, tap into it and see if have a guest, come and see what you do, so that then you can like you said, you can use this program again. This is your program. So how do you leverage that so that you have the opportunity to do so?
Also, Julie, is this being recorded by chance?
Well, my husband was asking me that. He's like, "Are you going to record it?" And I'm like, "Well, I think I probably should." And he was a film major. So he's like, "Oh, I'm going to have to buy equipment." I'm like,
jump on that.
There you go.
I said, "We don't want to be pretentious, babe. It's not like we're not Rockefeller Center or something, but
I mean, it's a great opportunity for
It really is,
content to be repurposed, and something that, I mean, potentially even maybe you can turn into an evergreen service, kind of like.
Not only that, but the video, both video and stills in this situation, because do you know how it's not every day that you get to stand up in front of 80 people and
right.
speak.
I know. This is like so amazing.
Yeah, so having that and having record of that, having the video of that, you can take the stills and all of that, put that on your site, build out a page on your site for your speaking and for your programs, and by having samples of it there, you're gonna it's just gonna, again, the turnover is gonna be much higher.
Yeah.
And you don't have to find 80 people to set up to do a photo shoot.
Right.
While you may not be able to, because of what the company can or can't disclose, or individuals, you maybe can or can't put on the internet fully. I don't know exactly, but other companies are going to want to see that as a reel of what you deliver as far as benefits go, and they may be interested in seeing
Good
a
point.
whole hour of that program. So I think it's worth it to capture the whole thing and then see if you can deliver that in a sort of marketing package to other companies who are interested.
Put together a pitch deck, essentially. But to that point, though, it is a good point. You may want to speak to the CEO, the woman who's hiring you, and see if it's okay if everybody might be okay with signing a photo release. Say we're gonna record it just for the sake. I don't know, the side of your face might be in it. You're not expected to participate, but if you're willing, would you sign the photos release? Because then you will have permission to use it wherever you wish, and you might as well approach that beforehand and see if it's even possible, so that you can, and you don't have to track everybody down later and try.
Right.
And once that's great. The sky's the limit, and you can post that on your website.
Yeah, you
make
can do
YouTube
anything
videos,
with it.
Instagram. Lots of cross platform.
We have, by the way, just this one thing, and we've come up with a lot of.
I know.
So let's do real quick takeaways. Like what for you has been the strongest ideas or resonates with you at this point?
Well, the first thing I want to say is that this opportunity I'm like overwhelmed, because this is exactly what I needed. But of course I put it out there, and then here I am sitting here at 4 minutes left of the class today. They're like, "Hey, are you available?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll do it." So I just want to say thank you guys so much, because this is phenomenal. Okay. So takeaways. So the concept of hosting it from my site, I love, after we talked through it, because I think, and then the messaging around them completing it and providing it to me ahead of time. And I know that I can work on like the messaging with the CEO to say, this is what I am thinking. She already knows obviously the whole program, but around the wheel of life, I would like for them to do it ahead of time, and here's why, so that she can reinforce it. Because I mean, she's so excited, and like she took me on a tour of the organization and introduced me to people. She's like, "This is our life coach, Julie." And it's like, well, so
like people, amazing that you put that out there. There are coaches who have been dreaming of that for years, and you got it right out of the gate. That's fantastic.
Also, not to be too cynical, but she is the CEO, and she can force the people to do the.
They will do the life wheel.
Yeah.
Oh, right. No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Well, and even if they don't, like the thing is, this is a program, it's a workshop. So, there's commitment on your part, if you're going to get anything out of it, is to participate and do the wheel of life and really think through it and really think through your core values. And, I'll be walking you through it, take advantage. And of course, some people will be like, no, but whatever, that's fine. Even if 60% engage, in it, that's great. And then
And honestly, I mean, heck, if it was a room of 10, you've got 10. I mean, that's which I sincerely, I'm sure it will be a much higher turnover rate, especially given that they're being asked to do it, which is something I'm going to write down a note so I remember once we're going through the takeaways, because I have a question for you.
So we went through that. Then the coaching, I have to think about that, how I'll exhibit the coaching and where it makes sense to put that. But I definitely like that a lot.
Honestly,
Um,
be open to it, because that's sometimes the best way is just it may happen organically. So if you go into it with the intention of saying, okay, if somebody asks a question, if something comes up, and just if notice tomorrow. So tomorrow when you take the class, notice how Dan segues into a coaching session. He does so in a way that's very organic, but just sort of on a second level, a second watching level. Watch on the level of him teaching, but then also watch on the level of how he does that kind of thing. Because what he very naturally does is he goes, "Well, do you mind if we talk a little more about that? Or do you mind if I
Yes.
ask you a question about that?"
Right. And I love that, because I think that it would be daunting for someone to be like, I'm going to go up in front of this room and Julie's going to coach me, like, versus.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's what it needs to be. I think it needs to be where it just happens organically, and you are open to it and prepared to go, okay, so if somebody asks a question, oh wait, here's an opportunity for me to delve a little deeper with somebody,
Yeah.
and do so, and just ask their permission right there. Do you mind if I ask you a couple questions about that? And then
Right.
it's a really natural way to delve into it. And then also you've asked permission and they've given it. So that's again, watch tomorrow, and you've already noticed that, I'm sure. And
Some of our viewers might think we're tricking them into being coached. It's organic. We're asking the question,
but they
and
already,
then they're letting us.
they know that she's a life coach.
Yeah.
She's there, and this is one of the questions I had for you. Was what is the CEO is gonna, if you have her ask you to do the life wheel, how else is she gonna sort of set you up to win in this situation, or to get people to attend? Have you talked to her about that?
It's mandatory. It's a mandatory staff meetings time. So they have to.
There you
have
go.
to, yes.
I love it.
I know.
Done. But if maybe still though, even still, like with the life wheel, maybe there's a good way to present it, even if it's just in how it's branded or whatever, that that puts a tender taste in their mouth, or just sort of primes them for the process and what it's going to be, and gets them in a place that they're comfortable and open to it, and they see the benefit.
Yeah.
So, and maybe this is one of those things where we talk about customer awareness. So where are they in the customer awareness cycle? So if they're the furthest out, they're probably not problem aware, really.
Yeah, they don't.
So the life wheel is going to take them through. It's going to get them problem aware, and then so maybe on some level, at the end of the life wheel, I wouldn't put it at the beginning, but at the end of the life wheel, have a note or something that says, okay, thank you for the information, and this will be used to provide solutions, essentially.
Right.
And I would address that and get them sort of excited. Okay, maybe I'm going to get something from this, and I'll get some help, and those wheels turning. I think it could set you up to win, honestly. So I think the giving the life wheel before is a great choice. I really do.
I do too. It's great stuff.
So yeah, okay. So life wheel before, we've talked about video. We've talked about hosting it from your site. What other points have we talked about that resonate with you?
Or other takeaways.
Another one was to talk with Joanne about her network, to see if there's any of the other CEOs that are in her network that might want to come to see one of the sessions.
Mm-hmm. Is there, so if that happens, is there something you can do to, I guess, guarantee or not guarantee, but I guess influence them, or on offering you can give them, or something that you could say or hand them, to say, hey, I can do this for you as well? I know it's pretty, it seems like it's on the nose, that's what they're there for, but a lot of times it's as simple as handing them a card, or handing, and just having that prepared, and again, it's always the call to action and having that ready to go to you. I don't know why I'm stuck on QR codes right now. I just feel like everybody should have a QR code.
We were talking about it amongst ourselves a few days earlier, so it's on our minds.
Yeah.
Well, not to mention QR codes became a whole new thing.
They were around, and then they disappeared, and then they came back.
Well, they had to, because we couldn't have a menu.
That's right. That's true. That's totally true. So they've been another thing that but it's great though, honestly, because nobody really wants a business card as much these days. You can scan, boom, you're there, and
right.
I love that. So okay, going back through.
Okay. We talked about recording. We talked about a pitch deck for marketing going forward. Potentially photo release. God.
Is there anything that you feel like you would want to talk through more, or anything you feel like maybe you want more clarity on, or
Not right now. I need to organize my thoughts.
you're like, yeah, no, right now it's like
It's
overwhelming.
so great.
Oh
It
my
is.
God, there's so many things.
I love it. This has been awesome. So great.
I'm glad.
Thank you.
I'm really, really happy.
Well,
to help.
maybe unrelated to, this event and opportunity, what are some other parts of, your business or coaching or marketing that maybe you're a little unfamiliar with and maybe want to explore in the future as well?
So all of it.
Everything, all of it. Just
All the things. Well, you know what? I'll be honest. Let me boil it down. There are so many things that you can do. So many things. What are the right things to focus on first?
So that's again why we get you so tapped into who your ideal client is, because it's really all born from that ideal client. So the great thing about the 80 people in a room is you've got 80 people in a room, and so you can market to them right then and there. They're captured, they're held. But most people don't have that. So they picture their ideal client, and that information, that one person. So if the ideal client is Jerome, right? Jerome, if you're my ideal client, where do you surf the internet? What do you do during the day? Where can I reach you? And how can I do so? And those are the questions that really start to guide your marketing process. And that's why that ideal client is critical.
And what's great about, these 80 people, it might be a reverse process where you find that there's a group of ideal people who are responding really well to you, and you didn't even think that they were your ideal clients, or you didn't have a way to articulate that.
Right.
You have the 80 people in front of you and their information in front of you, and you see as you're coaching who's responding well and what kind of problems they bring to the table. You might say, oh, these people are people I can work with really well and who respond very well to the thing I'm saying. So instead of changing to try to fit a niche, you're already in your niche. You just need to talk to the people in their language. They already like you.
Not only that, what's amazing is you can sit back and sort of approach it from two levels, right? So you're going to approach it from the level of creating a program and doing this thing that's fantastic and making sure that it's there for their enjoyment, but also always and in anything you do, always have that second level of awareness of okay, what is working? Why is it working? Who is it working for? Taking that beat moment of going, okay, I just had a great coaching session, or we just had a great thing, but what worked and what didn't? Why did this work and why didn't this work? Who responded and why did they respond? Who appears to be really kind of digging this and being into it, and who is actually reaching out to me? Because from that, you can then, as he said, start to pull, okay, this is who's responding. So this might be the space that these kind of people I'd work with and talk to. I mean, you've got a test audience, essentially.
Also the CEO is probably your best tool for this too, because they get to hear what everyone else is
not only that,
saying.
But why did the CEO hire her to begin with? I mean, like, to step it back even one more, the CEO is really your client too.
Right. Yes.
Right. So what makes her your client? What does she do during her day? How can you reach other people like her? Right.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah.
And like I was saying, she can give you insight as to, because I say this often, a lot of the coaching happens in between the sessions, probably work happens. So she's privy to, the office talk, and she can give you sort of feedback about,
I'm sure she will, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine she wouldn't.
And if she doesn't, ask her.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I will.
but she though is your client too, in a huge way, and great. This is, I mean, to have several of her under your belt as clients would be nothing but amazing for you. So pay attention to what she does with her day. Honestly, I mean, don't be afraid to ask. And because that's where you find. I mean, how did she find you to begin with?
So we worked together, and she saw that I posted about it on Facebook that I was going to be a life coach. And when we worked together, I mean, she's very dynamic. Like we're both very hard. We're very similar, I think is why, because she's like
that connection that which is amazing. And so, but she knows other people like her, but that tells you right there, Facebook, right? Like, you're on Facebook.
Yeah.
might be a place to start, right?
Right. And I am like, I have my Facebook business page set up. I have those things. There's just, like I said, there's just so many things to do. It's like, what makes sense to do, fourth, fifth, and sixth, now that the first couple things are done,
Well, okay. So, and the first couple things are, you've got your Facebook page, you've got the one thing that I don't want you to discount in all of this, because you have said that your ideal client and is the corporate that wants to level up, et cetera. But if you look at the CEO, this is somebody you've worked with, right? You've worked with several, because of where you are and who you are, you've worked with several people in the past. That is a warm market. It is. It is a warm market for you. And so it would be a place that I would say, don't be afraid to reach out and market to even more directly those people
Right.
in your past that you connected with, that are doing well, that might know other people, and just keep putting that information out to them, or even reach out to them personally. And that's that personal touch that will take you so much further than the general thing. That being said, though, you have an 80-person captive audience, so I would put my focus there. I really would, on just on making that the win. And also, this woman that you've got a connection with is, just a huge resource, and I would not discount it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You've got so many things that are already working to your advantage. You just got to tap into them.
Yeah, and I think you just made a really good point. It is probably my best place to focus is making this program that I put together, knock it out of the park, because I have this opportunity with these 80 people, versus trying to randomly even connect with 80 people.
Exactly. Well, and not only knock it out of the park, but leverage it to be able to do it again. Like, so you know that you're doing it for the 80 people, but make that opportunity to get somebody in to see it or video it, so that somebody can at some point. Don't just have it be a one-off thing. Do it with the intention of having it springboard you into the next one.
Yeah.
And so you just set up the tools and set yourself up to win in that regard, not just to win that the program's amazing, because that's part of the win, but also you set up the tools, the marketing, those moments where you can really shine to the right people.
Yeah, I love it.
I have a question, Julie. Do you plan on staying in contact with each of the participants at the presentations in between each presentation? So, like, for example, maybe opening up a Facebook group for them to stay in the loop potentially. Is that something you were thinking of?
Good way to keep them
No,
accountable.
I was even thinking, that you brought that up, because you've got a month between, but she's already been introduced. This is our life coach. So having a forum or a check-in.
That's a great idea.
Because a month can really kind of water down what types of things.
Right.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be Facebook. Maybe it could be an email group. It could be it can be a number of things. It can be, if you have a website and you have a forum on your website that you can put in. I know that most website builder kind of hosting sites have the ability to put a forum in fairly easily. So you could do a private forum and have that be, they can post questions, anything, even a WhatsApp chat.
Yeah.
Right. would work. And just get everybody in a group. And that way I'd have the CEO there. And of course,
QR codes. Yeah, you can just put one right there.
Exactly. For that QR code, if you have any questions in between, I'm here for you. And that gives that, I love that. Great point. Jerome. We love our WhatsApp groups. Like but it's such an efficient and quick way to get in touch with people and stay in touch and build a group and just get information out to them and also respond. It gives you that instant, that on or in the moment response, which is really what people want these days. So, and I love you being a resource for them. In between. I love that.
So and I will talk to the CEO, because I'm thinking, knowing the kind of the clientele, I guess I'll use that word. I'm not sure that they're ready for WhatsApp.
Yes.
So I think Facebook might be the perfect forum to put a group together. I think there's probably comfort there.
I
love that, because it would be super easy to go live once a week for 30 minutes just to have them remember me and, Julie, what is she talking about now? And,
and that can also be where you talk to the pain points, you talk to the life wheel, you have that more, just here's a tip, here's a thing, and you can help them. And that's giving them, that's that you giving, giving for free, because that will garner in you getting in return their trust in their business. So I love that too. You can also drop in links to things there, links you have on your site, and it's just a really great way to tap into that group in between it. Amazing call, Jerome.
Thanks, Jerome.
So fantastic. I don't. How are we doing on time? Oh,
What
yeah,
was
we're about done.
you wrote down a question for her.
Oh, that was the question. That was the marketing before. How is she being? And then it's mandatory. So that's fantastic.
Awesome.
So.
Yep. In healthcare, we love making things mandatory.
Well, we've got just a few minutes left. Is there anything you want to say? Any you want to let people know where to find you, or find you soon?
Yeah, well, sure. So, my Facebook business page is up there. It's at Catalyst Life Coaching with Julie Allison. And like I said, I'm open for business, and I am so committed to helping people get where they want to go. We're from wherever they are. So, if seems like you like my energy, you got to be ready to deal with the bold and the loud, but if you feel that connection.
Yeah, that is, there, trust me, as somebody who's bold and loud.
Yep.
The good witches over here.
Yeah, exactly. Jerome, final thoughts?
Just gonna say, be bold and loud. That's very captivating to a large audience, like I'm sure you will be working with. So
yeah,
be bold and loud. It'll keep their attention, and you've got a great opportunity. It looks like you're excited about it, which is great. Because with that being said, I mean, you look like you're gonna put your best foot forward, and it's gonna turn out. I'm kind of excited. I kind of would like to see some of this. I would like to see essentially. Yeah, I really.
Like, I want to. Please.
I am more than happy to do that, because I'll benefit from it for sure. But yeah, and I'm super excited about tomorrow for the last day of level 2, because it's been amazing. Yeah, the I am here to be seen. I almost dropped dead.
Yeah,
it was unbelievable.
I'm an audio digital, and so I did that, and then I had somebody say that what was it? It was I'm thinking of you, and it was, for me, like, that was so powerful. I was like, it was 100 times more powerful than I was like, and that was that moment when I had that moment. I was like, oh my God.
I cried. I was red all the way up to here. And I went through, the way I described it in the homework was a rainbow of emotions in that 5 minutes. That's the only way I could describe it. It was all over the place. It was so cool.
So it's amazing, like, through Zoom, to have that kind of that.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's honest. I mean, I think I say it all the time, but I would not have made it through COVID without the connections that I made in those classes. Like, because when we were in total isolation, I was in level 2, like, every week. I was just attending. Like, I was just a fly on the wall, simply just to be around that energy and have that connection and feel that human. It's just a beautiful, safe, amazing space, and there's no other place like it in the world. So
I agree with that 100%. Yeah.
That's what I was told, Dan. The magic of Dan is the ability to set that safe space with everybody, because everybody just opens up, and especially in level 2, and it's just like there really is no other environment like that I'm aware of. So
I've never felt it before. I know that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm glad you like it. It makes me, it touches my heart. So a lot of care and love went into level 2. So level 1 as well. So and then final thoughts, Anthony.
Maybe not directly towards you, but towards the viewers as well. When opportunity presents itself, no matter how big or small, don't just sit with that opportunity. See where that can go into the future, and don't just be satisfied with, oh, okay, I've reached this goal, I did this one cool thing, and not do anything with it. Think more of how you can propel yourself into other opportunities, and always look for ways to grow from this sort of thing, and think about where to go forth from there, and be thankful for the opportunities as well presented in front of you too.
Well, and also, I guess my final thoughts is to think of it on a multi-level thing. Whenever you're approaching anything, is don't forget that you may be creating a program, you may be coaching, but it's also an opportunity for you to step back and gain a lot of information for your business. So, I mean, that's that thing is every coach, we want to get out there and help people, but it's also a business at the same time. So use the opportunity to learn for your business and learn about your business. And it's that second level of awareness and just tapping into it essentially. Yeah. Tomorrow, try to take the class tomorrow, even though I shouldn't do that. Just be in the class, just be in the class, take it again, and the second time take it with the second level of awareness. I mean it's what I do when I take class. I mean anything that I take, I'm always watching on two levels. I'm participating, enjoying, but then I'm also always looking at how it was built, how it was made, how it was with the intention of learning that for my clients, for CLCI and things of that nature. So yeah. It was a pleasure to meet you. This was a wonderful time. I loved it. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And I know it's going to be a fantastic program. I really do.
Excited.
Name it. Do you have a title for it?
The Catalyst Concept.
The Catalyst Concept. I like it.
Awesome.
I love that too. And you can use that.
Good alliteration.
Yeah, it is. And honestly, brand it. So
I'll send you guys over my logo because I got this tattoo in 2013 and that's my logo with the same exact thing. So it's kind of cool.
And the link you dropped and that logo as well is going to go right into the blog.
Okay, perfect.
Our readers as well.
So
awesome.
We've got you. we're proud of you. That's awesome.
Thank
you.
you.
Love to hear that. Love. So, all right. To everybody out there watching, Jerome, you started it. Do you want to sign off?
Sure thing. We'll see you guys here next week at 5 again. I think we don't have our topics settled, or do we?
We need to get our no. We're going to do core competencies.
Okay. Yes. Okay. We're going to do core competencies, everybody. You all seem to enjoy the intro to that, which we actually did our live stream on a couple weeks ago, just about the ICF and who they are and why they're important. So we're going to be kind of continuing that, and we will be speaking about the core competencies and the importance of those. So we're excited for those.
So yeah, they go into new ones go into effect in June. So we're going to sort of tap into
the new ones, not the old ones. So
yeah,
you'll want to tune in for those.
They're changing the CKA and they're not even going to call it the CKA anymore. So I don't know what they're going to call it.
So you got the old ones, throw them out.
I have to find it. So thank you guys out there for watching, by the way. Do you want, I'll just do the make sure you guys check out Certified Life Coach Institute. We certify life coaches in 3 days, certifiedlifecoachinstitute.com. And if you like the video, share, comment, all that good stuff. We do monitor and we will respond. And yeah, be awesome like Julie and become a life coach.